Welcome to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I would really appreciate it if you went back and viewed previous episodes when you get time. Well, I know you guys are probably sick of hearing about my podcast updates, but you know what? I'm going to keep telling you because I don't know. I've always been a helpful person, and the reason that I tell people about things is because I guess my ultimate goal is I want us all to succeed. I want everybody to be able to exchange information and get ideas and things of that nature. Might be a perfect world that I'm dreaming of, but that's the kind of person I am. So if you've been listening to previous episodes, then you would see various upgrades I made. The last one I did was I put the moving blankets, I put those on the inside. And then today I was out and I was thinking, and the idea popped in my head that the chair that I had bought, a computer chair, it was a little too bulky because you got to remember, if you look on Amazon under portable sound booth, it's barely like 30 something inches, forward to back. And I got my desk in here, I got my sound mixer, my mic, and then the chair, there's only like 2 inches in the back of it. So with a computer chair, when I step in here, I had to pull it back and squeeze around it to get in my desk. I said, maybe I'll get a folding chair. So with a folding chair, there's not only a little bit more room, but with a folding chair, of course, there's no arms. So I can just slide right into it, and it makes it a little bit more comfortable in here. Because as far as the sound quality, you hear it right now, and it creates a dry, non-acoustic environment for your voice that you need when you're doing a podcast or whatever. And for anybody who wants to know, if you have whatever microphone you have, try your best to plug it up XLR. It's not going to be, you'll notice the difference. It's not going to be like, you go from USB to XLR and then all of a sudden your sound just automatically sounds great. That's not the case. When you plug it up with the XLR, you'll be able to tell the difference from the USB to the XLR. But if you're chasing the podcast sound like I was, even when I have my Shure SM7B and I have my Rodecaster, I still had to find the EQ settings for it. So I found those yesterday. I think it's a site called My Rodecaster Settings, I believe. And the guy, he gives you the exact settings from a Rodecaster Pro too. He's got a picture of it and everything. And it took me a couple tries because I had an issue saving the preset for some reason. So when I finally got it all dialed in, that's what you hear right now. I got a preset and got it all dialed in, and that was the last thing I did was get everything EQ'd up. So, like I said, right now you're hearing the EQ'd version of the thing. So I think now I'm pretty much there. Only other problem I had just a few minutes ago, I for some reason I unplugged my XLR and I was going to go use a stand that I have, but I don't know. I couldn't really. It didn't work out the way I planned. So I came back in here, plugged up my microphone, and all of a sudden it was static on it. And I was like, man, is it raining outside or what? Is it raining inside my apartment or what's going on here? So I took the XLR cord and I just unraveled it, and because it was wrapped around the mic stand before, but before I unplugged it, there was no static. But then when I plugged it back in, I could hear static. So I just took it, unwrapped it, and kind of shoved it long ways behind my desk here. Because I also have a little, one of those round USB lights. You buy them and they're on a pole, but you can take the light off. It's a circle. So I got that plugged into my computer through USB. So that's my setup. And I'm not sure if I said it. The chair I have is just a folding chair. So it's a pretty decent environment in here for podcasting. I don't know. When you listen to it, let me know how it sounds compared to the older versions, the older podcast episodes, because you'll be able to tell the difference, especially from my first podcast, because I've gone from a HyperX, then I went to a Fifine, and I was using Adobe Podcast Cleanup, and now it's basically my setup is the Shure, and I go through WavePad and do a background cleanup, and that's it. Really, really light everything on there because everything is good with the mixer. Now that I have everything mixed up, dialed in or whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the episode. The old Ford Trans Am, a beast of faded glory, ate up the miles of forgotten highway inside. The air was thick with unspoken truths and clashing philosophies. A microcosm of the human condition hurtling towards an uncertain destination. There were 6 of them. An unlikely collection of souls, bound by the whim of a cross-country trip and the shared claustrophobia of the long road. First, there was Asher behind the wheel, his eyes alight with a restless, almost fervent energy. Asher was obsessed with growth. Every conversation, every observation, every stretch of road was an opportunity for evolution, for expansion. He saw life as a grand, unfolding narrative. Each moment a stepping stone. Beside him sat Luna, a whirlwind of bright colors and an infectious, if sometimes forced, laugh. Happiness was her religion. She chased it with a singular devotion, shunning shadows, seeking out only the light. Any suggestion of negativity was met with a practiced smile and a quick change of subject. In the back, slouched by the window, was Kale. His world was painted in shadows of gray and indigo. His poetry steeped in longing and loss. Sadness was his muse. His confidant, he found a profound beauty in melancholy, a depth that eluded the perpetually cheerful. Next to Kale, serene and unmoving, was Alara. Contentment was her anchor. She sought no peaks, no troughs, simply the quiet hum of existence, the gentle lull of peace. Ambition was a foreign concept, stasis, a cherished state. Across from Alara, his gaze fixed on the passing landscape, was Orion. His very presence seemed to demand silence, a deep and unyielding peacefulness. He flinched at raised voices, sought out quiet corners, his nerves frayed by discord. And finally, meticulous to a fault, was Anaya. Her thermos of herbal tea, her carefully packed snacks, her regimen of stretches at every gas station. Anaya lived for health. The body was a temple, a finely tuned machine, and any deviation from its optimal function was a personal affront. The journey had begun with a fragile truce, born of mutual need for transport. But as the miles accrued, their individual obsessions, once quirky differences, began to clang like dissonant bells. The tension simmered, a low hum beneath the engine's drone. Asher, always seeking to expand, believed his philosophy of growth was the unifying truth, the grand theory that encompassed all their singular fixations. He saw their obsessions not as isolated islands, but as tributes flowing into the mighty river of progress. "Don't you see it?" Asher began, turning to the group as they pulled into a desolate, forgotten inn. It's a sign, barely legible. Its windows like vacant eyes. Growth isn't just moving forward. It's embracing all of it. You can't truly grow without knowing sadness. Kale and Luna, true happiness, the kind that lasts, coming from enduring and learning, not just chasing fleeting joy. They sat in the inn's dimly lit, dusty common room, the air thick with the smell of old wood and impending storm. The innkeeper, a silent, gaunt figure, had offered them rooms. They vanished. "But why would I want sadness?" Luna recoiled, her smile faltering. "Growth, to me, means growing towards more happiness, shedding the dark things." Kale, roused from his melancholic reverie, looking up. And what kind of growth ignores the profound beauty of sorrow? Asher, to grow is to delve deeper into the human condition, to understand its full spectrum, not to simply ascend. Alara shifted uncomfortably. Growth implies change. I find my peace in what simply is. Why disturb contentment with constant striving? Anaya adjusted her posture, her brow furrowed. All this emotional upheaval is detrimental to one's physical well-being. Stress, elevated cortisol. A healthy body needs a peaceful, balanced mind, not one in constant flux. Orion, who had been trying to mediate in a corner, finally spoke, his voice a tense whisper. Please, the discussion is becoming too loud, too disturbing. Can we not simply exist in peace? Asher, undeterred, even invigorated by their resistance, pressed on. But that's it. Each of you is missing the forest for a single tree. Luna, your happiness would be richer for having known sadness. Kale, your sadness, if it led to understanding, is growth. Alara, even contentment can grow, deepen, become more resilient. Anaya, true health isn't just the body. It's the robust spirit that can face adversity and learn from it. And Orion, true peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the wisdom to navigate it and emerge stronger, to grow from it. His voice, usually measured, began to carry a desperate edge. He gestured wildly, trying to paint this grand tapestry of interconnected feelings. But to the others, it sounded like an assault, a direct challenge to the very foundation of their existence. To Orion, Asher's insistent volume, his passionate gestures, were an unbearable desecration of his peace, his nerves, already frayed. Snapped, he stood abruptly, seizing a heavy, ornamental candlestick from the mantelpiece. His eyes, usually placid, were wide with a frantic, desperate need for silence. Stop it. Just stop, he rasped, striking out blindly. The candlestick connected with Anaya's head. She crumpled, a soft thud against the dusty floor. Her herbal tea flask rolling away. Her breath, so meticulously maintained, was gone in an instant. Chaos erupted. Luna, witnessing the sudden violence, let out a piercing scream. Her world of forced joy shattered. She lashed out, her panic turning into a desperate desire to escape the horror, to restore her happiness. She grabbed a splintered chair leg and swung it wildly, accidentally catching Kale across the face. Kale, bleeding, but strangely serene, looking at the growing pandemonium with a horrified fascination. This was the ultimate tragedy. The raw, unvarnished sorrow he'd always sought. He embraced the pain, a strange, artistic smile gracing his lips as Luna, and her blind terror struck him again. Harder. He fell. A profound, almost beautiful sigh escaping him as his precious sadness became his final companion. Alara, whose contentment was now utterly demolished, simply sat, her eyes wide, her face pale. She watched the madness unfold, unable to comprehend or cope with the sudden, violent disruption of her tranquil world. When Luna, wild-eyed and sobbing, stumbled towards her next, Alara offered no resistance, no fight. She simply existed, still and unmoving, accepting her fate with a quiet, terrifying resignation as Luna's makeshift weapon connected. Her contentment, once unshakable, now lay shattered with her last breath. Luna, surrounded by bodies, let out a choked sob. Her world was gone, her happiness utterly annihilated, her mind fractured under the weight of her actions. Her singular pursuit of joy leading to this horrific crucible. She dropped the chair leg, her hands shaking, and stared at Asher, who stood frozen, aghast at the carnage. "You," she shrieked, her voice raw with grief and madness. "This is because of you. You tried to change everything. You brought this darkness in her broken mind." Asher calls for growth, for embracing the full spectrum of life was the source of all this misery. The antithesis of her shattered happiness, she lunged, her bare hands finding his throat. Asher, the prophet of growth, struggled, his eyes wide with a dawning, terrible understanding. He had seen the grand design, but failed to grasp the fragility of human obsession. The dangerous ferocity with which people cling to their singular truths. His own blood began to pound in his ears, his vision blurring. He tried to show them how everything connected, but in their blindness, they had torn each other apart. And now, he too was being consumed. As the life drained from him, Asher saw not the grand tapestry of growth he had envisioned, but a desolate landscape of broken bodies, each person a victim of their own unyielding truth. An epitaph for a world that refused to see beyond its chosen feeling. His last breath was a silent whisper, a testament to the tragedy and irony of his grand, unifying vision. The inn in the middle of nowhere fell silent once more, save for the slow drip of rain outside, washing the dusty windows like tears. 6 journeys concluded, not in growth, but in the brutal, unyielding strength of solitary obsession. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Narrative Mindset Podcast.